can't make this stuff up. So first of all, this is PSA, Philly Service Announcement, Takeover Tuesday, Takeover Love, Support, Grace, Social Activism, Resources, and Art. I am the assist, African support and strength, inspiration and success together. You know, I always got to let y'all know about my right-hand sis, Nick, Raw Cannon. Shout out to the Cannons. My brother, Mildy, is Zach. You know what I'm saying? You know, Nick is a queen, multi-dimensional, fully dimensional black woman, black queen, you know. Mom, wife, master, you know, she got her master's degree. Great friend, great sister, you know, great mom. So she, you know, a professional, very much a professional, and in this nonprofit space, you know. So, you know, she always got things to do, but she gonna make her rounds. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at it now. She gonna make her rounds. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I can't make this stuff up. So my brother, hopefully he can still make it. A Stratton, you know what I'm saying? If not, we'll set it up another day. You know, it's a community show, so it ain't too hard to schedule and be on here. Especially when you out here taking care of the people. You know, we are a resource show. So I have this young lady up here. Both will be, you know, friends of the show, returning guests. You know, so I had a whole little thing with Angelique. I'm trying to stop calling her my daughter's mom. You know what I'm saying? Because it almost became the same thing as baby mom, and I don't like baby mom. That's a whole caricature in my head, baby daddy. I don't like when people call me that because I'm not that. Like I'm very much a father and love being a father. So I wanted to be a father since I was like 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? That was a real thought process of mine, having multiple kids. Me and my cousin, we both was like, we're going to have a whole bunch of kids. You know, I got incarcerated. That didn't happen. My cousin had like 6 kids, but, you know, he is a father. That's all I'm going to say. My cousin, he got 6 kids. So this queen who, you know, every time I've been around her whole mission is not her whole mission, but as far as I know, you know what I'm saying, is to uplift black men, you know, kings. And I really did just go through a whole thing just now with my with Angelique. And you know what I'm saying? And another young woman stepped in and had some things to say to her. Not crazy, but just like I understand. And it was like in that moment, I'm like, when I talk to her, or she talks to me, like we have I hate to even say like damaged each other, you know, so much in our interactions that is like when I talk to her, she just even I don't even know, maybe I'm hearing something different when she talks, but it upsets me. She makes me angry, like, and I'll be like, yo, I don't even want to talk, like I just want to shut down on the situation because it's just what you saying to me and what I'm saying to you is not making sense. And, you know, I've been talking about being dedicated to not listening to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And what do that look like? Is it both people at the same time? Is it just one person? Is it one person, then it grows into both people? Like, and I know it's various ways of trying to find resolution with that. But I really was, you know, I don't want to go too far into the story, but it just was coincident because I wasn't thinking about who was going to be on the show today. So me bringing my daughter here wasn't the plan. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we go through that. I'm literally like processing for like 40 minutes after that because I'm upset. Like I'm really upset, and I know it. I know I'm upset. I'm not saying anything. I don't want to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But for 40 minutes, I could just feel my body doing all of this stuff, like all of these nervous tics and stuff. You know, wiping my beard, and it's crazy because my thought process is like that a lot of times anyway. Like, what is going on with me? And that's something that was developed in prison. You know, being able to like look in the mirror and face myself and have to go through, what are you doing? Like, how did you get here? All of that stuff that I tell people all the time, how I come to be where I'm at right now, and blessed by the ancestors and stuff like that. But I really was angry, like angry. And it was like, all right, shut that part down. It's nothing to even talk about no more. Cause that's just gonna make me more upset. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I've never been and never, and as I'm very mindful about being upset and then taking it out on other people around you. So that's another reason why it's like more like I'm gonna just shut this joint down. They may feel some type of way that I'm not saying anything, but I'd rather it be that than I'm saying stuff and now it's like, yo, get the fuck away from me, all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to do that to people because I can't stand when I see people do that to people. Like, you're upset with this or that person. You can't take that out on everybody else. So I don't never want to be in those spaces. So, all right, I shut down. But then I'm like, damn, I'm really angry for 40 minutes. And I know it. And the crazy thing about this is I didn't know. I wasn't thinking about the fact that she was going to be on the show. I was, but I wasn't. Not when I'm going through that. So bringing my daughter again, like I said, that wasn't the plan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, I get here. And then, like, towards while I'm getting close to getting here, I'm like, all right, you've never been upset. Every time you do this show, it's cathartic. For 2 years, I've been telling people that, like, I've never come to the show and not wanted to do it. Never. I've never walked in here and was like, I don't want to do this shit for 2 years. And it's just like, you know how it just merged into one thing. And today I was like, damn, you know, you process it for 30, you ain't say nothing, but you about to do something you really love to do. And it just so happened is apropos. You know what I'm saying, to what's going on. And it is Father's Day next weekend, you know what I'm saying? And it just was like, you know what? And then when I got here, because she just fell asleep and waking anybody up, especially Suhana up, while she ain't get it all the way through her sleep, it's gonna be a problem when you wake her up. She's not gonna cooperate. But then she started peeing, and we potty trained her, and she got panties on. No, I don't have no pull-ups. So I'm like, it's nowhere to change her in here. So I'm like, I'm going here and I'm gonna clean it up, bro. She peed on your floor. She peed on your floor. You know what I mean? I'm a little wet right now, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, all right. I'm not even upset because I was like, you know, I'm never upset with that, but I'm like, damn. You know how when it happened, you be like, what is going on? What is going on? And then I just thought about it like, all right, this is good for the show. You know what I'm saying? It really is, because I went through a whole joint in like 2 hours, all based on black man, black woman relationships and whatever that looks like, whatever that is. Do we even know how to have them, considering what our beginnings are in this place we call this criminal organization called America? Yo, I'm gonna keep shouting. Yo, I've never done anything like this, but I'm gonna do it because I'm not a fan of anyone, but I'm an appreciator of this brother. His name is Greg Carr. And he does this show. He's a professor, law professor. Just so happened he's a vicious historian, if I remember how he always explained it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the law was tied into what was going on with our people. You know what I'm saying? And the law tells a story about our people, a very accurate story about our people in America. Like, if you really look at it for what it is, you know, from being 3/5 of a man by law, that tells you at one point you was in this country and you were not human. Like, you weren't human legally. Yo, you were not human legally. Like, so I think, I don't want to misspeak for the brother. If y'all get an opportunity, check him out on In Class with Greg Carr. Another sister, a sister that is on that show, a queen that's on that show. Her name is Hunter. Damn, what is her first name? Oh my God. Damn, I can't remember her first name. It's something Hunter though, but she does the show. I'm gonna remember because I really like the show. It's like really the only podcast that I watch for real. Whenever I get time to even sit and watch. But the reason why I said I'm saying shout out to him is because I definitely want him to come on the show, because he says he's in Philly a lot. He's in Philly a lot. And from me watching the show, I know. And I respect a lot of the things that he's saying on it, but one of the things that he says about America, he calls America a criminal organization. And that's by law, because he is a law professor. So if anybody understands this is a criminal, however, but we don't have proper relationships as black men and women because of that history. And I do say a lot, we don't even know how to have relationships because somebody else has always been in our relationships from the time that we were captives coming all the way through. At no time, even if you want to go to the point of being in church and the white Jesus is up there, You feel what I'm saying? And what our Christianity was coming out of slavery was very much our master's Christianity. And of course, we African folks, so we found way to have the AMEs and all of that, but still your outside society was affecting how you even operated in the church based on how these people who gave you this religion made you feel, and then you had to go into the church and be a certain way because of that. Some people just followed suit with what this white God was. Some of us had rebellion churches. If you read any Black liberation theology, these are people who are very much Christians, but they are very much African. You know what I'm saying? And they understand like our whole being is supposed to be fighting against this because we are people by God's right, like by God's law, like we are people. So how can you tell us at any time by law that I'm 3/5 of a man? So it's like a lot of how we mold our relationships, if we talking about the Christian church and what it tells you a relationship is, and a lot of us follow that. You know, if you talking about if you talking about Islam right now, you know what I'm saying? Because we can even go back and say, you know, there was an Arab slave master who opened up the doors for there to be a European slave master. You know what I mean? And that thing still carries through, and it's a lot of Arab culture in Islam that we follow. You know what I'm saying? Environmental culture and all that. So we've had welfare systems, the criminal justice system, DHSs, school district, you know, all interfering in our relationships in some way. Section 8, that's a tie to welfare. You know what I'm saying? All of these things can dictate the child support courts. It's no time in American history where we were totally independent on how we did our relationships, even as far as looking at the imagery that's been put out about what a relationship is. But who is that applying to? You know, like people have the joke about like the Leave It to Beaver, the picket fence, and the dog, and the kid. You know what I'm saying? Even that was informing. Even if we talk about the Brady Bunch was informing what a relationship was supposed to look like. But these were all through a lens of our oppressor. Because he played with those pictures and those images, what you hear in the music, what you see visually, what you read in print media, and the pictures that are showing the way these articles are written and what they're talking about. It's people telling you about your relate. Black folk have never had relationships without somebody else being involved. So now we at this at this crossroads where it's like, how do black men and black women deal with each other? Because if we don't have a proper relationship, nothing else can be kickstarted. And if we talk about what goes on in our community, where our community is really based on our family. My sis always says that it's an attack on the black family. You know, Nick always say that, like, no, y'all got to understand that these different organizations and agencies and institutions they have always been attacking our black family because they made the relationship between the black man and the black woman so toxic. You feel what I'm saying? So now we trying to get to a point where it's like we're informed, so we're trying to move them out, but we still got a lot of that resi going on with us. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that just to say, like, I can articulate that to you like that, and know that I understand what's going on even with her, and it's so much embedded in us that I could still be upset when I hear her voice and be shut down for 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's a crazy thing, but these are some of the things that we deal with if you really want to say you're a father. Not to say I'm just speaking from the standpoint of a father. Because I watch what my mom went through, what my sisters go through, women that I'm close to go through at being moms and not having proper relationships with men, no matter which side of it is on or if it's both of them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, damn, this rolls right in. This is how my life is. And then at the end, like I said about the show, this is very cathartic for me. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, returning guest, friend of the show. Can you please tell them who you are? Thank you for sliding on over on the chair.
Let me get myself together.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure if we had some other people that was going.
No, I don't know if the brother gonna make it, but we gonna shout out to my brother A Strat. He been on the show before. He's definitely gonna get on here. I'm gonna call him, make sure we do it next week or something like that. Because like I said, this is a resource show. He provides a resource. Check him out. He is vicious with the leather, yo. Leather bags, leather purses, and whatever you need. Like he Stitch, he get busy, and he do the t-shirts, and he teach our young people how entrepreneurship through selling t-shirts and print and press. You know what I'm saying? How to get your LLC and all that. But and happy Father's Day to him too, because this is actually the Father's Day show. I'm gonna say that too, because Father's Day is this weekend.
All the fathers out there,
that's why it was a real strong request to have this young lady back, this queen back on here. So again, please tell them who you are.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me back. I'm so happy to be here on this day when all this chaos is breaking out. It really is fitting for me. I'm Lakeisha Jean. I am the founder and creator of Speak to the King luxury greeting cards that celebrates Black and brown men 365 days a year. This is the height of our celebration season for the Black man, which is Father's Day. We are dedicated to making sure that we highlight the nuances, the regular things, the routine things that Black and brown men stand up and do for their kids, all year round. It really is not just only about Father's Day, but that's what we're dedicated to doing. So I'm so, like you said, I was just listening to you and I'm like, how perfect is this? Because our mission is to not only just say, oh yeah, you did a good job or great dad, but it's really to go deeper and say, in the face of all the difficulties, in the face of the ridicule or the criticism for past mistakes or, that past trauma that may come into play when you're dealing with within the family dynamic or any type of relationship within our community, when those things go left, we still want to be able to say, you are still a strong king. We still love you. We still celebrate you. We still need you. So, our greeting cards are dedicated to just that. Right now, we are highlighting like the Black relationship, the Black family relationship. So I brought along some of our products right now. We have the Black Experience collection that we released for this particular Father's Day season, which highlights men being fathers, Black men being grandfathers and dads and just strong leaders within our community. So we are so excited to be able to sit here on this platform. We know Father's Day is on Sunday, so we're doing everything we can to make sure that people know about Speak to the King. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those platforms at Speak to the King. And we're just out here. We want to be a voice. We want to it's bigger than greeting cards for us. It's definitely a mission, as you were saying when we first got started. I don't know if this is a mission or if this is a call for me. I come from a relationship with a father who was incarcerated for most of my life. And growing up in that particular situation, I had a lot of resentment for him when I became a grown woman. But in 2020, when we were all locked down in quarantine and we saw George Floyd have his life taken away from him, like it was nothing, like he was nothing. That just sparked something inside of me to say, you need to love the first king in your life. You need to love your father, because that could have been your dad. That could have been your dad in that street like that. So that started our journey of forgiveness and healing. And through that and poetic expression, we began to create Speak to the King. Right. So, we're excited.
Listen,
we're excited to be here.
So I tell the story all the time because it was dope. I read one of the cards the first day I met her. We recorded it, we posted it. It's still one of our best videos that we put up. Well, I don't really like that. The Instagram exposure and all that is not really like a big thing to me, because I really just want like quality folk, not quality folks as in, I'm talking about quality folks as in people who actually see what we do, follow what we do, want to be a part of what we do, like that. Like, how you get a lot of those promotion Johns on there. That's what I mean by that. I'm not talking about people's character based on it, how they like the show. So I'm just talking about like real viewers versus the Johns you get to just make your number look big so more people will follow you because they see you have a big number. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. If I could have 400 loyal, 500, 300,
right,
100 loyal people who know and believe in what we do as far as Philly Service Announcement, PSA Programming, Phoenix Community Solutions, Katika, Black Diamond, Carly Co., It's All Love, Philly Financial Coach, Eddie's House. Like, all of these people, like, they really be out here moving and doing things. And I left names out of, like, Be Holy, like, just a lot of people that I know that are actually out here doing things, trying to benefit our community. You know what I'm saying? And having them and whoever their extension is, that might grow to 100, 150 people, 200, 300 people that's actually watching, following, and involved with that's what I want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't get into that. Like I don't get into the viewer from that standpoint. I just want quality folks. So it's like I want to always be able to bring like a real resource. You know what I mean? Like that's the important part for me. Like I want to be able to bring a real resource, and it's like people need to be loved on.
Yeah, especially black and brown men.
Yeah, and I'm love both.
Especially.
I'm love both, but that's always the crux of it. Like whenever I'm thinking about like what is this, what are these conversations? What am I doing with the show? What is my pay for the show? Like what's the theme? Like it's love, support, and grace, but it's like you really got real connections with people who are actually doing things that you believe in and they believe in, and we actually follow each other. And the story is actually meaningful.
It's
you know
real.
what It's not just like you watching TV, because I think people watch people's stories like TV. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be funny to me like, man, they really do watch stories like TV. But nah, like when people look at your story and it's meaningful. But it's something that popped in my head, and I don't want to forget it, and I know I'm a little off course. But when you say that it's about the relationships, right?
Yeah.
Because I like to like pick stuff out of what you say and then get a question from there, but I know I'm gonna forget this because it's like so much going on in my head right now. So, but you said like what it is to like uplift, like when it was explaining it, and the thing that I've been saying to a lot of people lately is with black men that you recognize are men, you know, and we can go to what that is and what the definition of it is. But if you say that that's a man, like you see it, because that's one thing that everybody recognize when they're around. Men, women, children, boys, they all recognize a man when he's around. If you're not a man, you'll notice how people deal with you when you come around. Like it's serious. It's almost like the thing I say about your phone, and the phone gets on my nerves. I hate the phone. But if my phone wasn't ringing because nobody needed anything or needed me to be responsible for anything or could count on me to talk to them about something or counsel or advise, it's just like your phone is just not ringing.
Yeah.
Something's wrong, bro. Like you need to really look at who you are as a man. And it's for me, that's being a man. That right there. Your phone, as much as I don't like it, it could tell a story, like a real story.
Yeah.
But belief in. Like somebody asked me, like, what do you need, like in a relationship or and I'm talking about any type of relationship, family, romantic, friend, whatever it is, professional, like the belief in. That's what a black man needs. That's what I need. The belief in.
Yeah.
Knowing that things can get tough. Like if a dude is just fumbling completely, that's a different thing. Like you see one, you gotta allow a cat to have a real fumble. Like you gotta allow that without making that like the end all be all. Like no, and you'll see from it. Like you'll see from it whether you should still be dealing with them, should the relationship change and all that. But a lot of times it be dudes who are willing and they have a track record, because that's how you kind of recognize that he was a man. Not so much how he's 6'2" and he 230 and not that. Like that's just, he could be a big boy, like, because there's a lot of them running around here, like grown ass male. I ain't gonna say grown, just big males, like they bigger and older males, but they're not men. So when I say you recognize a man, like what he needs to keep moving is belief. Like people believe in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, especially if I have a track record, because like that's one of the things that like I know that's one of the things that angers me. Like it makes me angry. Like you questioning me as if I don't have a track record.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like that penetrates me in a different way. You know what I mean? Because a lot of men who are men intentionally try to be men. If y'all understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A lot of men who are men intentionally try to be men.
Yeah.
So when you question that, when I'm intentionally doing it, and again, I have a track record, that it especially, and I don't even like going to where all the other stuff black men are dealing, because I believe to a certain level that coddling has made men a little more like not feeling like they got the responsibility. Like I feel like it's a whole group of men who have grown up, especially while I was in prison, and I seen it where it went from, and I talk about this a lot, where men were the 3-4 Ds. He was down low, he was a deadbeat, he was a dog, and he probably was a drug dealer in the early 90s. I lived it, I watched it, I seen it. It was in all our movies and music. That's what black men were. And the feminist movement in their own way pushed that very hard with our women, with black women. Read about it, you know, they'll tell you, they always tell their story. So, but over the time that I was in prison, it was like the woke things started happening, you know what I mean? And I understand woke, conscious, aware, all of it's the same thing to me. You understand that the shit that you've been taught is a lie, and then you learn all the other shit that's actually true, and it blows your mind, it creates stress, it re-traumatizes you, it makes you more invigorated, you believe your potential, all that other stuff happens. This is just our American experience. But some of us never get woke. They just believe what this shit is, and they want to believe it, and they just rock with it, and that's a response to being a captive slave, all that good stuff, not being a person and all that. But that's the issue. Like, if I'm trying and you see me not even trying, I have a track record. That's the one thing I'm saying. That's a caveat probably in it. And then there's still no belief in because of other dudes.
Right. Yeah, no, we're definitely
because of other dudes. And I understand why them dudes like that, and maybe you don't, but you still can't treat
you can't hold that
those
against
ones.
you.
Yeah, like, and that's and be questioning you as if, like, that's the joint that, like,
that gets you going.
Yeah. I don't like when there's no. You gotta believe in me. Like, I don't know if people can say that's your ego and all that.
No.
Everybody needs a pat on the back, especially if I'm doing it.
I don't think that people give men enough credit for being human beings. And what you're talking about, every human being wants to feel validated. Every human being wants to feel like, you know what, I'm trying, or I'm doing a good job, or I'm showing up. And we just discount men sometimes because, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, whereas I do feel like those that are striving to make their families' lives better, make their children's lives better, make their communities better, they do deserve, you all do deserve, your flowers. You definitely do. And a part of those flowers is, I believe in you. I believe in you when you're up. I believe in you when you're down, because the core of you is worthy of belief, and that's really where we come from with our messaging. It's not always easy to see that and to speak to that as women, or as people in general. But that's a part of what Speak to the King allows people to do, is to say, you know what, I know that it's not pretty right now, but at the core of who you are, the human being that you are, your soul, your spirit, your moral fiber, all of those things I applaud. Right. All of those things I applaud for you continuously showing up to this thing called life every single day. The real men, as you said, I'm not necessarily, we as Speak to the King are not saying that men have an excuse to not be leaders, to not be providers, to not provide that security for their family. We're not giving them excuses. We're only simply saying, for those of you that are trying to show up in that realm, here you go. Like, yes, keep going. Let's put the light on you.
Yo, that's
let's speak into those who want to be that, right? So that they could possibly pull themselves up out of whatever dysfunctional thinking that has them behaving in a way that is not who they're supposed to be.
Right.
We want to be able to speak to that. So
I like it too, because things become cliche, like, and that just put like a little like twist on it, like, because we tell you're a king, and you are, but that becomes cliche where it could just be said,
right?
Where it should be a mantra, but they don't necessarily turn into a mantra. It turns into a cliche. It's just, oh, we're kings. It's like a second thought. And you're kings. It ain't like we come into the building, every building, and be like, what are y'all? We kings. Like, that's an everyday thing. And we should do that. Yeah. But it's come more of a cliche. But you saying speak to the king. You know what I mean? Like, like you talk to him. Speak to, that inner him. Man. Speak to him. You know what I mean? It's always multiple ways to look at it. And that's why I like it. It's a couple different ways, like, speak to the king, you know what I mean? Even you speak to God, you know what I'm saying? We all are a living representation of God, you know what I mean? So I like the wording, and then I just like what you said, like it goes through you having to go through a lived experience with your father,
you
absolutely. And it's like we trying to get to a point where everybody don't have to have these lived experience, but we have them documented in a way where it's like, oh, that's a reminder, so we don't have to go through this lived experience.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We read these and empower each other because it reminds you of that experience. But at a certain point, you would like to just be a reminder, and that's it. Like, everybody don't have to speak to the lived experience, but right now it's capturing a lot of lived experience.
Absolutely.
You know, how are we dealing with this father thing?
Yeah.
As crazy as that even sound, I always tell the same story because it blew my mind when I seen it, even though I knew I went through the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, being in prison, yo, and the Father's Day cards just not having no value. Like, it just, for the stuff that I was reading, the stuff that I knew, what I experienced, what I watched, it was just like, to see it play out in your life. Like, you know, when you read stuff and then you see it play out, we always be like, it's surreal, because we watch too much TV and now too much the phone. That's why everything is so surreal. You know what I'm saying? But they got that shit from real life. It's not surreal. It's actual life. They just captured it. But you see it in a movie, and now every time you see something similar in real life, it's surreal. But anyway, it still is a thing, man, where it's like, I just appreciate it. Like, for real, I really just I appreciate it because we need to be pushing on each other. Like, things is a little wild out here. You know what I'm saying? And you need to be able to locate. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this also is something that can locate.
Yeah, no, it can go anywhere.
Yeah, you can locate.
Cards, you can send them anywhere. They're words.
For
words
real.
On paper have so much power. Yeah, they really do. There's something that I want to, this is one of our cards that we just released. I'm so proud of this series because I feel like it really, really amplifies the heart of what it means to women and families to be covered by a king. And so if you don't mind, I just want to speak this to you as well. I know that there's a lot going on, but these are the messages that we want you to hear versus the other stuff. All right. So you said, what does it mean to be a real man? What does that mean? What does that look like? Like, how do we recognize a real man when he walks in the room? And these are the things that women recognize. This one says, you surround my peace with beautiful things, protection, security, the answer to my dreams. A man's man where family is safe and vulnerability is a comfortable place. You take care of my emotions, our children's too. All the reasons I melt into you. You are husband, father, daddy, and king. And today we celebrate you for all these things. Happy Father's Day to the kings out there who walk in that message, right? Who walk in that light, that protection, that security, even our emotions. I saw you with baby girl when you came in here. Baby girl was safe with her king. She was on your shoulder. She was upset and she was cranky, but she knew she was with her king. And pretty soon she settled into your rhythm and what you were doing and how you were trying to get her straight. You were taking care of her emotions, right? And that was the first thing that had to happen before the show, before we jumped into the business. You were her king and you were protecting her and her peace. Right? That's what we want to put out there. And that's what I recognized when I saw you. That's why I just sat back. Even I was able to just sit back and say, let me let this king do what he got to do.
No, that was, let me let him take care of her. I always appreciate, that's something I can say about all of the women who are around me. Like, they all show me, they all give me that assistance, that help. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely not a person who don't accept help. But sometimes, I don't know, that is, sometimes it'd be like, I got it. Because it feels like you don't know what you're doing because you're a man thing. You know what I'm saying? And I deal with that. And that's a real storyline, too. That's, again, in that whole thing where I was saying about being involved in our relationships. Having the dad be like the bumbling, funny joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, we watched that on TV over and over and over again, and we seen that caricature. And it's like, even when they are being fathers, it's still like this level of, you know, like it's gonna be comic relief. You know what I'm saying? And that has happened to me before. I didn't like respond to it. I just kind of laughed and was like, nah, I'm cool. I don't need your help. I don't know you. Like, but the other thing is trusting your judgment, like trusting our judgment, trusting who I bring around me and who you bring around you. That's the other belief thing too for me. Is like I feel like one of my gifts that I give to a person who is in my life in any way is I have other good people like me around me. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna show if you allow them to, because you know how people can be when they're coming into like they're coming in a situation through a person. You know, it could be like this defensive thing, or it could be like, but a lot of the people around me are not like that. They really not. We have our issues, like it happens, but for the most part, at the core of a lot of those people, I know that I could trust their assistance. I could trust their help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a benefit. And shout out to all of those, all of the women, my friends, my family, you know, my people I work with, everything, you know, the village, exactly. Because that's always my approach as a man, is like community.
Yeah.
I'm about collaboration and community, and it's not gonna always be smooth. And it's gonna be very frustrating because we fucked up. I say that a lot. I don't say it on the show a lot, but I do say it a lot. They fucked us up. I ain't gonna say we fucked up. They fucked us up. Like, and y'all know, like, what it is. Like, you weren't human at one time. Yeah. And this is a very young nation. And my sister Sarita came on the show, and she said this when she was on the show the first time, about we even got to look into the fact that this criminal organization is young. 400 to 500 years, and you starting something. You're starting a civilization. Whatever you're starting it on, the pretense, the principles that you're starting it on, you know, positive and nefarious, is like, all right, we only 400 years into this experiment, you know, and you look at other civilizations and they got thousands of years in. You feel me? So we look at that, but then as black people, and this still goes into how we do relations, because, you know, we've made transitions through what we were called in this country, from, you know, being niggas and Negroes and colored and, you know, Afro-American, African-American. So ethnically, we only been around for about 60 years. And what do that mean ethnically? What culture do we have attached to that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a crazy, our relationship story as black people is very, we need to read this history, yo. Please read these books, man. Yeah. Please read these books
but
about.
Thanks goodness for voices like yours, helping those who aren't reading the books.
And
no, seriously, thank you.
A lot of people went into I'm not even gonna say a lot of people. I'm gonna say I was given very key people in my life, like my older sister, my mom. You know what I'm saying? Sikambuzo, you know, my aunt Vanjie. You know what I'm saying? It's like my mom had a lot of friends, and I got aunts, my aunt Samira, you know, but I'm very honest in, like, where did you get some of your influence from in different parts of your life? My brother Chuck, you know, like, it wasn't a lot of people. When I look at it, I know a lot of people have a lot of family, but it wasn't a lot of people. It was like certain people that poured into me in a very authentic way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm carrying that through for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to you.
Shout out to those folks.
Shout out to you.
Nah, I listen. It's you, in order to do with the stuff that we do, like, you gotta be humble, right? Just because you should have humility, just because it is a very beautiful and positive attribute and character trait that you can have that will bring you abundance. Yeah. You know, having humility. You know what I'm saying? That will bring you abundance. And not just, we're not talking about material shit. Like, we talking about abundance as in health and love and, you know, care. People giving you that. You know what I'm saying? So but I believe, like, you saying it and other people saying it is like, I don't have to say it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can be humble. And I do, though. I'm very confident in who I am as a man, and I do love myself very much. I really don't have a problem talking about myself. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like, it is more powerful when other people tell the story, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, other people are gonna tell the story. Like, I've been hearing a lot during the circles, like, you know, it's not always what you say, is how you made a person feel, right? It's never what you say the most impact. It's how you made people feel. You know, Miss Marion, you know, shout out, appreciate you, Miss Marion, you know, but she says that a lot in our trainings when me and her do trainings together. But This is something I want to know. Like, what has been? Because how long have you been doing this?
2 years.
2 years.
Yep,
Okay, so probably around the same amount of time I've been doing the show. We this you gonna pop
2
off.
years. We started in 21.
So what has been the most, good or bad, the most visceral experience that you've had as like a chain reaction to the cards or explaining the cards, or like what is one of the most serious things that have happened? Like I said, good or bad, that like touched you deeply, like damn, or oh man, you know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh, I think you may have been there. I was recently visiting you all. Shout out to the Fathership Foundation and all of y'all over there for doing some amazing things. Men standing up. But that was one of the moments that reflect many that I've had over the past 2 years, where I see real men. I'm talking about real strong, men who are whole in themselves. They read these cards and they read these words and they are moved to tears. I'm talking about real tears. Like I get emotional watching it, and I try to hold it together because I can't be crying too. But it is powerful because people tell us that grown men don't cry. That grown men don't, especially not in public, especially not with people, with strangers. But when I see that real emotion happen, or if they're reading it, I watch people when they read the cards. I watch them close. And when I see their hearts smile, I literally see their hearts begin to smile across their face. That's the power of Speak to the King for me. And that's why, when I show up at the print house and I'm picking up my cards, I cry. You can ask the people. I'm always moved. Like, these are so beautiful. And they're like, did you do them or no? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yes, they came from me. But just an idea to paper, to a hand, to a heart.
And people giving you real responses. Like I said, when I first met you, when I first read the card, it was like, oh, all right, I really enjoyed this. Like, I like this. You know what I'm saying? I like that it's very specific.
Yeah.
Forget all those people who keep talking about, you don't know how to say it. No, you know what I'm talking about, though. The Pacific. She's very Pacific Ocean. I don't care. Yes.
They are very deep cards.
But
they are
and
very
they're beautiful.
Deep cards.
And I think I asked you this before about like the artwork.
Yeah.
Like,
so we
you
do.
who
no,
does
I
the
don't.
artwork?
Thank you for saying that, because I always forget about my artists.
All right.
So we have independent artists. When I first started, like, again, we were all in quarantine. We were locked down. Internet was everything. And so I wanted to find real art. I wanted grown men to have beautiful cards that they could frame as art pieces. Men who appreciate exquisite art or art, I have another level of respect. So I wanted to create a product where they would also be able to, keep these things around in their homes and in their places where they can look at them. So we contract with independent artists. If I find a pen or if I find a something that is dope, I'll reach out to that person, whether it's Instagram or just if I'm in a mall and I see a mural, I'm looking for that person. Like, yo, can you do me a card? Can I commission a piece? So we commission all of our art pieces, and then we put them on the covers of our cards, and then we put a link back to that artist on our cards as well, and on our website at speaktotheking.com. You can go there and find out about that artist. If you want to reach out to that person and have them commission a piece for you, it's all love. Like, we want a community of uplifting. So that's where the covers of our art comes from. That's where the covers of our cards come from.
Because I definitely know some artists I gotta reach out to. Oh, before I go, we having a grant writing party. So check our check PSA story. You know what I mean? Tell a friend to tell a friend to come through, because we trying to, as a part of this Credible Messenger program that I'm doing right now through powered by Eddie's House through the OVP. We want to have like a lot of resource for our folks, and one of those resources that we've been thinking of, and I hope people steal this idea of the grant party. Please make this like the official party that we've been doing. But it's a lot of grants that come through the city and through different donors and all of that. And a lot of the things that goes on in our community, like, we could get little grants for, you know what I'm saying? And be able to provide some resources, especially block captains. Block captains should really learn how to do this grant process, because it's not rocket science. And we have a template. Again, shout out to Tyrone Morris. I can't remember the name of his John. Committed Community Solutions. I hope I said it right. Or Committed Community Mentors. That's what it is. So shout out to the brother. The brother is very informative. He has a lot of information. He loves to give it out to our folks. And then Miss Marion, like always, the Don. It's like, no, I don't want to compare it to none of that BS. She's just a queen that take care of black people. You know what I'm saying? She makes sure we good, very transparent. That's me and her favorite word. You gotta be transparent, Jarue. It's not gonna work if they're not transparent, and that's a real joke. I live by it too. So even in your relationships, that's a relationship,
Listen,
John.
that's a part 3 for us.
Yeah, you gotta come back, and we can, because you made that point, and I was about to say I'm going through relationship stuff, but everybody. If you're a black person, you have I hate even saying it, but they fucked us up, though. Do you know any black people who don't? Right. We are definitely. I push for you. Are 100%.
Our generation is gonna change it.
No, we gonna be good. We gonna listen. But I gotta ask alongside, and this is unfortunate, but it speaks to why we need to be more about relationship building and healing, restoring. Do you know any black people who don't have or haven't been attached to like a traumatic relationship experience? Not just romantically. I'm just talking about sibling, mom, daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know nobody.
I do, but I mean, but they're different generation, right? Okay. Their parents probably went through some trauma. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
They're the next generation, the ones that we shielded from the BS. You know, but I do know whole families. I do know people who
and I need to see that
switched it up.
Not see it like I don't believe it, because I know.
I get it, but they
it's
do
like one
exist.
of them things.
They're real.
Did I get just that jaded that I think all black people have this thing going on with their relationships? See, that's bad. And I'm love boy. I really believe in relationships. I really do.
Yeah.
I believe they work. I just don't think we really know how to have them. And I think we need to talk more about that versus the versus stuff. Like, men are doing this, women are doing that. Men are doing this. If men did this, then women would do that. If women did this, then men. Like, we really need to talk about this in a whole thing, like overall relationships. Like, what are some core values to just have a base? Like, one of the things that I do a lot, and I think that's my core value thing is, you know, African folk. I'm about my people first. Mm-hmm. Period, point blank. We ain't even got to talk about nothing else. Nothing else. I'm about black people first. Right. So on the strength that you African, I have a group of things that I'm always going to be willing to do for an African person. Unless you deem it otherwise, you are that adversarial to me for whatever reason that I cannot do this for you. And even at times when you are adversarial, depending on the level of, because I understand, I'm still going to do these core things. I'm still going to be this certain way with you. And I think we need to like come up with that. Like, because you know how people don't have that, but they try to get into a romantic relationship. Or you try to be more of a friend to somebody, or you try to build that friendship further. You try to build it out. You meet the person at work. Man, you a dope person. Seem like you're a dope person. Right. I just met you. I just got to the job. You know? But what happens when you say that in the initial, like, you seem like a pretty dope person, but we've only known each other for 2 days.
Right. Give it some time.
What does
Let
that
it breathe.
do to how y'all interact after that? That transparency of thought, like, and then you introduce it. One of the things, a thing that I used to do upstate is like getting cellies is like I would have core things that I know work on how we could live in this bathroom together with all of our shit going on, and we don't know each other, because I couldn't live in a bathroom with my own blood brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now I'm just in this bathroom with this grown man with all his stresses, whatever they are, and I got all mine, and we gotta live in here. You know what I'm saying? So I start coming up with like certain things that were principled for me in prison, and it was like when we use the bathroom, I've already like created a way where it's like you can go to use the phone, or I'm gonna go to the yard, or when we go eat, I usually used to get like I wasn't eating meat, so I would go to the alternative meal. They would send you there first, so I would always allow my cellies to know, listen, you're always going to have that half an hour to be able to use the bathroom before you go eat, because I'm going to leave out first because I'm going to get the alternative meal. Yeah. So these is like things that I just came up with so we wouldn't have conflict. So when cats came in, I was very direct with it. Like, listen, this is what I do. I don't play with the cops. You know what I'm saying? I don't do, and this is how I was saying it up there, because this is the environment. I don't do faggots. Don't have no faggots come around this joint. And we can have a conversation about all that at another time, but that's what one of my joints was, because I know that's something that causes confusion in the penitentiary. You feel what I'm saying? That causes confusion. I didn't gamble. So don't bring the gambling shit around here. You know what I mean? So it was just like a set of things that I just developed. Like with my food, I always let dudes know you can have whatever you want. Just don't eat the whole thing, and please wash your hands. This is how I was moving. I was like, and I was very direct, just like that. Like, yo, the cabinet is open. If you want something to eat, if you open it, don't eat the whole thing. You can eat half a bag. You can eat half the box. But don't eat the whole thing because you didn't buy it. You know what I'm saying? And even if you did, and we putting our food together, and I didn't require that neither. You don't have to put your food together with mine to get some of what I have. You know what I mean? But I just had a set of principles that, and all my sullies love me. All different races and everything. Like, I didn't really have white boys in my cell. It just wasn't a thing. It just, in the county, because it was almost like a forced thing, but upstate, no, it just doesn't work. But anyway, for a variety of reasons. But anyway, all of my cellies were cool, never wanted to move out, none of that, based off of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to create that more and more, try to like come up with what that is, to even just have a base level relationship where we can deal with each other. Like, you literally come into a space and it be an honest thing. Like, these are principles. You could tell if somebody just being on F stuff because they just want to be how they want to be. But I just think we need to develop that before we can say we're going to have even deeper relationships in any manner. Like, we need some core principles that we need to understand that, like, yo, we should all do this to each other. Yeah.
I think the rules is.
I mean, it'll get crazy. Yeah.
Because I think they're trying to get us out of here.
Oh, they're trying to kick us out. Oh, my bad.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I thought you were standing there with you.
Yeah.
But it is time to go, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Listen, I wasn't sure. Listen, follow the rules.
I really appreciate the cards. I appreciate the thought behind it, the sentiment behind it. You know what I mean? Being as though you do have real experience around it. Yeah. I know that it's genuine. It's not just something like, oh, this is what I'm gonna use to. Nah, this is a dope thing. We need it. Yeah. I need it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It helps to have that support. Have, you know, a woman tell you in that way, like, listen, you good. We good. You know, even though I'm the type of dude, I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, but it's always a dope thing that for somebody, and really mean that, John, really be there, just like,
no, real rap. Yeah.
Like,
no, it's
you gonna figure this shit out or not? Because I'm not going nowhere.
Our piece is everything.
That is and that's what I feel when I read the cards. When you read the cards, when I've looked on Instagram and seen other men reading the cards.
Yeah.
So I can just, what would be what? All right, this is a thing. What is the goal? Like, what? And you can be, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I want to be the new Hallmark or whatever. However you want to say it. What is that personal goal, like that achievement goal?
Yeah, I want to speak to the king to be a household name when it comes to healing relationships with men of color. Period. Like, wherever there is a man of color who is experiencing some sort of pain in their person for who they are or who they want to be, and they don't feel the love and they don't feel the validation, I want Speak to the King to be what they go to. You know, just like we have a headache, we go to aspirin. You know,
no doubt.
I want it to be Speak
like,
to
baby,
the King.
let me read this card to you real quick. Let me get this John down because you need this today.
No, Speak to the King.
No, for real.
You talk about Hallmark, and of course I want to be in Hallmark, but then I want to be Hallmark. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like this is a needed voice that has been long silenced or long just not even amplified in a way that it should be, and now is the time. I mean, we are ripe for it. Our people are ripe for it.
And I like you saying that, and then I'm just sitting here thinking about what I told you about, like, culturally how black men were viewed, you know. And again, this is just it's not a black man making this up. Like, I watched it, I listened to it, I experienced it, I was a part of it, as a part of being drug dealer culture and all that, and this is how we were viewed as men. And then seeing the over coddling of black men, and it's like, this is a John that for me it feels like it's like even. It's like right in there, like, yeah, I do need you to be a man, so I have to request that and be clear of with the card what I feel like that is. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm still to push that forward in you in a very positive and beautiful way, like a very supportive way, and a belief in.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because I'm here because of the belief in, you know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate it, and, you know, we definitely need it. And we
You are
making
welcome.
history right now, man.
We are.
People be telling me that, and I'll be like, man, we just doing what we doing.
No,
but
this is an era. I'm so glad to be alive. I mean, there was so much stuff that happened in my life where I shouldn't have made it out of my teens. But
Right.
I'm here. We're here for a purpose. We're here doing all these things. Someone was talking about the great wealth transfer recently, and just so many things that are transitioning in our favor as people of color and a community of color. The black dollar returning back to our community, us becoming more powerful and more assertive in what power we have in the whole retail and commerce area. You know, it's just amazing to be alive right now. It's amazing. So yes, we are history. We are. Speak to the King is definitely historic, because when has there been a card line that is specifically dedicated to men of color only? I get people saying, oh, you should write for women. You know, you should make this broader. It should be for all men, perhaps maybe down the line. But right now, this is for the kings. You know what I mean? This is for what we want to say to our people. You know, am I open to change down the line? I don't want to pigeonhole myself, but like I told my lawyer, no thank you. You know what I mean? No thank you. I want this to be about black and brown men, and I want this to stay in our communities and be a voice of hope and healing for our relationships, and our women and our families to be able to celebrate the kings that we see in our day in, day out lives. Routine, not just extraordinary, routine. You know, you support me, I feel safe with you. That stuff is power.
Yeah.
You know?
It's powerful for a man to know that. Like, because we think it. We do things that said that that's supposed to be what it is. But when somebody like, no, when people look at me and be like, all right, whatever happens here, you got to make sure it's okay. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like, you don't understand what that do for a cat, like, on some real, and not in a, like I was saying to you earlier, not in a, I don't see what this nigga gonna do. I don't know. Let me call my phone. Like, yo, when did you need him before? But let's get out of here. Yo, I really appreciate you. This is PSA Philly Services. Tell them
where they can find me. Real quick. Speak to the King is on all platforms at Speak to the King, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We are speaktotheking.com. Right now, we have so many amazing cards on Etsy. That's where we're sold primarily. I am Philly based, so I do deliver here in Philly. So DM me, reach out to me if you see something you like on our sites. I am willing to deliver. We're rocking out all the way until Sunday, just making a whole lot of noise for black and brown men. We'll be in Atlantic City at the Black Experience Festival. Starting on Friday. So if you're coming out, or if you want to come out and enjoy some festivities, we got so much Juneteenth stuff going on around the city. It's crazy.
It's going on.
But you know, nonetheless, that's where you can find us. All right.
Nah, I really, really appreciate it. I definitely got to be out because I'm late for something else right now. But this is I needed this. I needed it. I really did. PSA Philly Service Announcement Takeover Tuesday Takeover. Love, support, grace, social activism, resources, and art. That's what we doing out here. I'm out.